There's only one thing about Manchester United that's been consistently good and consistently positive since Sir Alex Ferguson left, and that is the youth, the academy, some of the players we produce, and the success of the academy, winning the Youth Cup a couple of years ago, winning the league last season. We have an unbelievable academy, and I actually think in my lifetime, because I wasn't around for the class of '92, this is the best class of academy players we've had, and those at the club think so. This is Project Youth. This is Project Build round some of these academy players. Christopher Vivel bringing in the Sekou Kones, the Diego Leons, the Chido Obi Martins. He's looking to bring in another young striker from France to potentially fit that mould as well. You know, Aiden Heaven comes in as a top youth player. United are looking to bring in top youth players. United are looking to bring through some of their youth players. This is Project Youth at Manchester United, and we're going to explain all the news and stories. David Ornstein has given an update on our transfer plans. We're going to talk about Sekou Kone, Moorhouse, Thwaites. But done deal, Bendito Mantato has signed a new 4-year deal at the club, and he is so highly rated. He can play left back, left wing, right wing, but he can also play wing back, and he is seen as almost the perfect wing back for Amorim's system. Who needs Kenda? Mantato could do it all. He's very highly rated, especially since Ruben Amorim's come back in, and since he's returned from injury, he's been unstoppable. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news update roundup. We're going to get into the first story on Bendito Mantato. Exclusive, Benito Mantato is set to sign his first professional contract for Manchester United this week. The 17-year-old is held in high regard by the club, with Ruben Amorim keen to hand him a first-team debut before the end of the season. This was then confirmed a couple minutes later by Fabrizio Romano. Bendito Mantato will sign a new 4-year deal at Manchester United, valid until 2029. Jason Wilcox key to get the agreement done, as well as coach Ruben Amorim, who really trusts the player. So we've got two top sources saying new 4-year deal for Bendito Mantato. He signed his first professional contract, and he's held in high regard by not just the club, but with Ruben Amorim. And this is no shock. There is probably 3 players that I think Ruben Amorim is going to rate really highly. And when you look at the profile of them, Bendito Mantato, profile-wise, you know, wing-back versatility, missing out on Kenda, I think, is one. Jack Moorhouse, I think, is another really underrated player with his ball-carrying abilities. I think Ruben Amorim will rate him really highly. And I think Jack Fletcher could be up there. I think Harry Amas has got a good chance of succeeding. It just depends on his physical limitations. You've got Jim Thwaites, Sekou Kone, Shea Lacey, if he can stay fit. Ahmed Ibrahimov is a talent. The academy's special, but Bendito Mantato, and I did a video on this about 3 weeks ago. I said if there was one player I think could succeed under Ruben Amorim, I said Bendito Mantato I think could be that player. I said he's the one I think could have the most success under Ruben Amorim. Now I think loads of players could have success under Ruben Amorim in our academy, but statistically only 1 or 2 make it through. And I said if I had to guess, I honestly think, and not many people would say this, Bendito Mantato. And everyone was saying clearly Alice likes Bendito Mantato and taking the mick out of me in a video a couple of weeks ago. But I do. I really do like him. And I'm not going to act like I watch the academy every week and I know everything. But when I've watched him, I'm always impressed. I'm always impressed. And this is what Romano said. After the agreement over a new 4-year deal to be signed soon, Bendito Mantato joined Manchester United first team training. So he was spotted in first team training. There was quite a few young players spotted in first team training, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Monroe was there as well, very underrated defender. Gukonki was there, quite a few. I will get into that in a second, but it was good to see Mantato in training. And I think the ones that get into training are more likely to get on the bench. And one thing I've noticed with Ruben Amorim is we saw Harry Amas got off the bench, Chido got off the bench versus Leicester when he didn't have to. You know, he's willing to start giving out more minutes to youth players. And Mantato and Jack Fletcher are 2 players that apparently are expected to get their debut, maybe even Moorhouse, before the end of the season. That was a report from a couple of weeks ago. So let's talk about Bendito Mantato. Right wing / right wing back. I'd say if I had to compare him to a Man United player, it would be Ahmad. Rising Stars have compared him to Saka. He's got that Kenda-esque ability about him where he could play fullback or winger, but he's probably better going forward. So I think the wing back role suits him well. This was said on Bendito Mantato. Potential 9.3 out of 10. Pace, dribbling, flair, agility, good shot creativity, work rate and stamina are his strengths. A Ruben Amorim system, you've got to play at an intensity. You've got to get up and down the flanks. He's got that. You've got to be creative from the wing-back position. He's got that. The pace, the dribbling. He's a fantastic talent. They actually wrote loads about Bendito Mantato, so definitely go search up Rising Stars on X to find more information about Mantato. They wrote loads about him, but after this video. So, Talking of other young stars at United, who could get some opportunities? Sekou Kone. Kone scored an incredible half volley today for United's under-21s versus Leeds, where we were 2-0 behind. He scored the goal, and then he won the penalty to make it 2-2. Really good game from Sekou Kone. But there's one name that always stands out for me. Whenever I watch the Manchester United under-21s, this is the guy. He stands out for me. I'm going to talk to you about Jack Moorhouse. He looks ready for first team football now, much further ahead than a lot of others. When he gets the ball, his ability to eat ground and dribble with the ball, I mean, I think he's a little bit older than some of the other names. Not so much in the 21s, but obviously under 18s, he's playing under 21s today. But we talk about Cheeto and we talk about those players, and he's a couple years older. I believe he's 19. Whereas like Cheeto and Mantato and a few others are 17, Thwaites is 16. So of course he's going to have that little bit over them. But he just looks very far ahead in his development. He's someone that if he doesn't play for United next season, he needs a loan. He's too good for like the academy level now. He needs a loan. I think physically he's very good. He could be a Morgan Rogers type player. I saw Academy Scoop actually compare him to Tyler Dibbling in the sense of could play wide, could play in the middle, but like on the other side, like the other foot. And I could see elements of that. I can see elements of Morgan Rogers as well. I think it's the ball carrying. I think he could really be the left-hand in Amorim's system. He's like Bruno in the sense of, like nothing like Bruno, but like Bruno in the sense of you could play him in the pivot as well, and I'm sure he could do a job, but you would want him in the 10 role. You know how Bruno is probably a 10 but can play in the pivot. I think he's got the versatility to play in the pivot if called upon, but I wouldn't say he's like Bruno. But he's definitely someone that you'd want sort of in that left 10 role. I think he suits it really well. Elements of him and his ball carrying ability gives me Morgan Rogers vibes. And if you look at what Ruben Amorim wants in his 10s, is ball carrying. And Moorhouse is best ball carrying in the academy, you could argue. I honestly think in the whole Man United squad, and maybe I'm just being crazy deluded here because the academy's good, but probably top 5 ball carrier in our whole squad, and he's never played a game for us. Like, if that's his one strength that I think Ruben Amorim's going to look at and think, yeah. We've obviously got Cheeto. He's expected to get more opportunities at striker. Looks really good, but very early days for Cheeto. But big fan of him, as we saw. And then, as Academy Scoop mentioned here, really glad to see Jim Thwaites continuing to be called into first-team training. His performances can go under the radar because he makes everything look effortless. It's hard to gauge his ceiling in the men's game, but certainly a joy to watch. Jim Thwaites is a very, very young player. I believe he's still only 16. He's one of the younger players coming through. There's definitely questions over, like, you know, the physicality and potentially the men's game in the future. It's hard to know and predict those kind of things, as Academy Scoop says. But he's just turned 17, and, you know, very good midfielder, very, very highly rated. Probably, in terms of academy players, you've got like Shea Lacey and Jim Thwaites. I think inside the club are ridiculously highly rated. You've got players like Kokonki and Mantato and Moorhouse that Amorim's like, they're the kind of profiles I like, which are now very highly rated as well. So let's talk about the transfer news, because it's not just young players coming through, but United are looking to sign young talent. David Ornstein said this: "We're hearing their preference will be to continue what has been their approach more recently. Younger talents costing lower fees and salaries who fit Amorim's system and can develop into players with increased value." Now, when I looked at Aiden Heaven and Dorgu last game, I thought, what a bit of business from Ineos. I like that. Young players that fit it profile-wise, fantastic. He said this, though: "So I'd imagine there will be further recruits along the line. You mentioned rather than going for the likes of Gyökeres and Ostenham. Please don't hold me to that because you never know in the unpredictability of this industry. But United's focus, he's basically saying, would be more on a Delap than a Victor Gyökeres and Ostenham." Now, I really like this Ineos strategy of Diego Leon, Aiden Heaven, Dorgu. Aiden Heaven and Dorgu, they've come in, they've improved the left-hand side, they're fantastic profile-wise. But I think, particularly in attack, you just need a proven goal scorer. You need a proven goal scorer. I think, Gyökeres has basically rejected us. Ostenham's going to be costly. So I don't know if we get those two. But I don't want to bring in someone in attack that's a 20-year-old kid when we've had that issue with Højlund. I want to bring someone in attack that's experienced. For me, I'm really happy to go with a young centre-back because we need another centre-back. I'm really happy to go with someone like Wharton in the middle that's young for DM, or a Hayden Hackney from the Championship that's young for DM. But when I look at 10 and I look at striker, we just need something a bit more ready now. I look at Cunha, I look at Mbeumo, I look at Semenyo. That's what I think we need in terms of 10. In terms of striker, a Gyökeres and Ostenham. Jonathan David even, potentially. I think Ekite's a bit of a risk. Sesko, I think he'll go to Arsenal anyway. Delap still, I think he's great, but a bit of a risk. I look at United and I think we can afford to go for a young centre-back. We could afford to go for a Roger Fernandes at wing-back if we couldn't get a Frimpong. We could afford to go for a Hayden Hackney or an Adam Morton because profile-wise they're perfect and they're young. But I just think the pressure and a limited service. I just think in attack you need a different kind of player. You need someone like Cunha and Mbeumo that's proven in the league, or someone up top with a different level, if you get what I'm saying. But I like that. But talking of young players, I think United, they've obviously got Chido coming in to be that sort of young understudy striker, but according to the Muppeteers, they're going to look for another one. There's a possibility for Manchester United to sign an unnamed young prospect striker. The player currently plays in France. It would be similar signing to ones like Sekou Kone and Diego Leon. So I thought this was interesting. We could be watching a new young striker out in France, a bit of an understudy type player. And I'm all for that. Vivel, get into business, doing the scouting. Absolutely all for that. But we definitely need an experienced striker. So that is the news on Manchester United and clearly this youth-driven project. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.